Reaction to come. Those two slugged it out again with their teams. They know each other inside out. John Stones is the man in the 98th minute who finally broke Arsenal down and broke the 10 men's hearts. They're getting it back to 2-2. They're 48 unbeaten now in all competitions at the Etihad, and Manchester City back to the top of the Premier League. Did you feel it was one of those games where perhaps City weren't going to get through the way it was going there?
I did, yeah. Eventually, at the end of it, I was looking at it thinking, can Arsenal hang on this whole way? And then as soon as they started getting close to 70 and then 80, I thought they're going to do this. Not easy at all. I mean, I'm sure City fans would have been screaming at their telly of how to break Arsenal down. It's not easy at all. Putting 10 men literally camped on the edge of your box, it's never easy. But Manchester City are used to that. You know, the teams come with 11 men and do that a lot of the time.
So they should be used with Inter in the Champions League.
Exactly. And it's very difficult for someone like Haaland to get a touch of the ball. All I ever hear about is, Haaland never touches the ball, scores all these goals. Yeah, but that's how teams defend against Manchester City. It's impossible for a centre-forward to get a touch half the time. It's not that he's not good on the ball, it's just that's how teams play against them. So it was really difficult. Tough night for Manchester City. Obviously, Rodri getting injured as well early on. That could be a big blow. It remains to be seen what's happened there. But a fascinating game, and they'll just be delighted to keep that unbeaten run going at the Etihad, and obviously not lose any ground to one of their main arch rivals.
Is that the mentality again? That they just keep believing, keep going, they don't need another way?
They really don't. And the way they played, as Michael just touched on there, some Manchester City fans or some football fans would have been screaming, just get it in the box, just do this, just do that. Haaland's marked tightly. Anything that was chipped in, David Raya dealt with exceptionally. So they had to be patient. And Arsenal kept giving up. They gave Guardiola and Diaz space. They were saying, you two can shoot. 20 yards out, no problem. We'll deal with everyone else. So City had to keep being patient. They had a few pot shots. No success. They had to stay patient. And I still think they would have died on their sword. Even if they'd lost this game, I don't think Guardiola would have complained. I think the team would have carried on exactly how they are, because that's how they play football. In the end, people probably saying, lump it in, get Edison in the box. No, short corner, broke down, and John Stones finishes it.
Yeah, John Stones ultimately broke your heart. Is it a sort of wear down of concentration for the 10 men?
I think so, because when you do look at the goal, I think it's one of the few occasions where, obviously once Jack Grealish came on, when you look at the goal, where they had space, you look at the amount of space he's got here, and then you can look where Kovacic is. It's just the concentration in that. It was just too much for him, because normally they're on the edge of the box, they're all in their space. But this one, Jack takes it quick. See how much space Jack's got. Then Kovacic is left, and then they've done well to block it there, but by then, they're out on their feet. But I said again, Man City, what's that, 48? It's amazing. They're never going to stop whether you've got 10 men or 11. But again, their resilience in going for us was always going to tell in the end. Was we going to be able to keep them out? And no. But like I say again, it was a fantastic effort from Arsenal to try. Brilliant effort.
Raya was that good. He almost saved that one, didn't he?
Yeah, lay on the floor. But you joke about it, but his reactions, he's used to at the moment, making saves, deflections off the bar, making a save with his penalty. He's back up, he's sharp, and probably when he looks at it, he probably thought John Stones was going to give him no chance. He ended up giving him a chance, and he almost pulled off a miraculous save. And
that says everything to City. They hadn't scored at the Etihad for 17 months. They get goals from everywhere, don't they? When someone needs to pop up.
Yeah, obviously Haaland is their main source of goals, and he scored again today.
But others can, that's the point.
Absolutely, everybody can, yeah. The way they play, certainly the way they played there, I mean, they didn't keep anyone back. It was the goalkeeper was on the halfway line, and then all the centre-halves were basically surrounding the penalty box. It was a very strange pattern to play in many ways. As I said, you don't normally see 10 men.
You normally see at least a man up there, didn't you?
Exactly.
Did that surprise you, Wright, in any way?
It did, but more I was looking at it, I was thinking, well, who's he going to sacrifice to go up there? We've just lost Martinelli. Jesus came on, and we probably need him on that left side as well to help Miles Lewis Kelly. But I was thinking, we need to give them a break, because even when we used to do that in training, you was able to kick the ball up so the defence can come up and have a breather. They never had a breather. They didn't get a rest. And normally you think to yourself, you keep it more compact, you push them to the wings, but you have one person up there at least where you can get it out there. He can maybe go up, hold it, get a foul, get something to give you a breather, get you up the pitch. But we didn't do that. We didn't do that.
But there was no intent to do that, was there, really?
It didn't seem
I think
to be
it was almost like Arteta just... Because I said, as we were watching, I was saying, it's almost like City's best chance of scoring is if Arsenal clear the ball and they actually chase the ball, and all of a sudden they're out of this block, and then City can count. Because as things stood, they were just... It felt like they were happy. And you know what? I felt at all time, I thought they were comfortable as well. I never thought, oh my word, City are going to score here. They're absolutely peppering them. Yes, they had the ball. Yes, they were shooting from distance. But I never thought Arsenal at any point were out of their comfort zone. It felt like they were in control, even though they were defending.
Again, like when you look at the goal, it's the one time.
It is, yeah.
You look at it and you see all of a sudden there's space there and there's space there. You didn't see that before because they kept it so condensed, that City couldn't. Even when the ball came to people on the edge, you think, can he shoot? And then all of a sudden he said, no, I can't shoot. So, but in that moment, Jack with a quick corner played, then Kovacic, obviously they come off of Kovacic to come in to block. And they just kept going. We couldn't keep them off in the end.
Almost got there, though.
Almost.
And then, like you say, in the cold light of day, that will be important. At the moment, it's raw, but when they reflect... Yeah, because if you're able to go to City with 10 men and you can hold them out that long defending with no one up top, that should give you a lot in respects of confidence, in respects of defending anywhere else. And you said before this game, draw here today, beat them at home and not lose to the champions is the foundation.
There's a lot of talk about Arsenal going there and trying to get a draw. No one's going to tell me that 4 points against City is not good. In any scenario, for me, whether you're going there for the draw or not, if you can win against City in any scenarios, you've got to take it. And again, that's a point that I would loved us to have got 3. We got 1 point, and we go again.
OK, Pep Guardiola still then hasn't lost at home as City manager to Arsenal. Here are his post-match thoughts.
Well, Pep, sometimes the words are hard to find. Just relentless pressure, an unbelievable game. What are your thoughts on the whole of what we've just seen?
Yeah, it was. Many things happened since the second 2. Like we delayed the game 2-3 minutes, so many things happened. But yeah, so it has already created good battles against Arsenal. So different ones that was in the Liverpool in the past, but good ones as well.
Tell us how hard it is. Second half against 10 players, and they're going to play like that. How hard is it to break through?
We play 5-3-1, one player more up front, like happened with Brighton, but they put 4 players in line, so incredible toll, incredible commitment. I think we are not able to do that as a team, so big compliment from Arsenal because they defend every single ball, every single block until the end, Of course, we create chances, maybe not clear because it doesn't matter the crosses. You have John, have Erling, you have Gundo in more spaces, but they have, Calafiori and have Saliba and have Gabriel and have Partey and Rice and in these communities it's so difficult. But we did really well because the second balls we didn't do false because they want to stop the game. We know how much to stop the game. The second half, we did really well. We were patient enough for the, for the turner right, left, right, no cross to cross. Look the right moment, and at the end we were fortunate. We got what we tried to win in the second half.
Certainly for the home supporters, all that stopping, it's very frustrating. It must be for you as well a bit, but can you admire it as well, the way Arsenal did it?
I admire my team. My team started really well, and after. For interruption to stop, unfortunately for Rodri, for many things. And after the first goal, like the referee asked to the captains to talk and don't allow the captain to go to the position. Incredible goal to Calafiori. We have to admit it. We defend really, really bad the second one and saying that they are unbelievably good, incredible taker. Gabriel is so strong in that positions. But so happy for the performance, for the result, and 99 points left. So many things are going to happen.
Thanks, Pep.
You're very welcome.
Yes, he alluded to what you spotted there on the equalising goal there, that the referee asked the 2 captains across, which we went through at half-time. That's what we thought Pep Guardiola wasn't happy about at the time.
Yeah, I don't think he was. I don't think he did. I don't think he noticed that, and I think he was just frustrated in the moment and was frustrated at Kyle, but... hindsight's a wonderful thing, and we were able to see it from... It took us a while to work out what's everyone so unhappy about. But yeah, it seems like an age ago, doesn't it? But that was
so much happened in that game.
It was such an important moment. It was so important, but it probably won't even get a sniff in the highlights. But here we go again, trying to take control, like we say. The first half was so frantic, so much going on, some really tetchy fouls, shoulder barges, and Michael Oliver felt like he needed to get the captains together. Not a problem. That happens regularly in Premier League games. Get control of this. Everybody take a breath. But ultimately, he's dragged Kyle Walker out of position. Martinelli stood there exactly where Kyle Walker would be, facing him up. Dealt with it, probably diffused the situation in fairness and done what he needed to do, but there he needs to be stronger with Partey and just say, you need to wait. You need to wait. Kyle's a few little things going on, everybody's sorting. Really clever from Partey, really clever. And obviously there's a bit more defending to go from here, but that's a key moment in these big games. And unfortunately, I feel like Michael Oliver could have done a lot better there.
What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I agree. I think he should have delayed it just another couple of seconds. I mean, I don't think Kyle Walker sprinted to get back into position. I think he was walking, he was jogging, he was talking to people, pointing
Maybe he
around.
thought that the referee would just give him the opportunity to get back into position.
Do you think he should sprint back in, having been called out of position? He didn't go and confront the referee.
No, but we saw Pep Guardiola. He was at the outset. He was blaming Kyle Walker. He was like, Kyle, get back in, kept screaming at him to get back in.
Chess-wise, Pep's 3 steps ahead of all of us, though, isn't he? So he can smell it, he can see it, whereas Kyle's kind of in, I've been asked to come here, I've come and spoken to the teacher, I'll just get back into my position.
Someone else
Absolutely, but he did amble back in.
Team as well, though, should be standing in and around the ball.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that happen just naturally. I think that even when Kyle's running away pointing, he might even have been saying, someone's get on the ball. It's something that you naturally do, but in the end, it was great play from Partey to get it in there. But I wouldn't want that goal scored against me, especially with the referee.
So you sympathise with?
I do sympathise because if you're gonna do that, and we're gonna go to the letter of the law in respect of what you're doing, surely if you're calling the captains in, you've got to give them both the opportunity while the game's dead to get back in position. Then you blow the whistle. That just seems very, very logical to me. Something like that should have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't matter with Saka, did it? I mean, Arsenal had possession of the ball. He's an attacking player. If he's slightly out, but as a defending team, and you're calling the right back over, you've got to let them set. And I do agree. The referee should have stood on the ball and just waited until he's back. Worst case scenario, Erling Haaland or somebody around the ball should have just stood on the ball, waited until they were back. However, I just made the point that I did think Kyle Walker was a little bit sleepy himself. As I say, he never sprinted back, or he wasn't aware of it. He did amble back, and Pep wasn't happy with him for ambling back. So, yes, it was unfortunate for City.
Are we definitely sure that Pep was upset with Kyle, though?
Yeah, he was screaming at Kyle. Yeah.
I think his chair and his seat got the brunt of that at the time. But you weren't happy with Leandro Trossard because when we look at this, it's definitely a yellow card for the first one. He knows it's on a yellow card. He knows it's at the end of the first half. And we now know 110% that this yellow card was for kicking the ball away, not the challenge.
Right, yeah. And I think that because I think that the referee, if Leandro Trossard doesn't get sent, I think that a lot of the chat would have been the mistake that Mike Oliver's made in respects of not giving Kyle Walker the opportunity to get back in position. But even that, the way he's challenged him there, that easily could have been a yellow. But for him to kick the ball away in the moment with everything what he's seen, what's happened with Declan, you know what I mean? I don't think there's no excuse for him here. You know what I mean? I think when he looks back cold-lighted, he'll say to himself, gosh, what was I doing at the time?
If somebody else had made that foul and it was a 50-50 foul, and he was then onto it and sort of kicked it, you'd think, he might not have known. He made the most obvious... It was him that made the foul. And it was the most obvious one. He hears the whistle and he kicks. So he knew exactly what he was doing. As I say, I would try to sympathise for him if it was another scenario. But he created a foul with a reckless foul in the first place anyway. So he knew it was a foul. He then heard the whistle and then he kicked it away. He's got no one to blame but himself.
And it's such a topical discussion on the back of Declan Rice 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it really is. And, we've been talking about it, but Arsenal have managed to get 2 draws this season, and both times it was avoidable. Declan Rice was avoidable, and so was Leandro Trossard. So they put their team under needless pressure, and there's only so long and so many times you can get these results. They're putting themselves in needless situations. I get it, Trossard's hot and bothered and a couple of minutes before half-time, but as Michael just said, he knows he's barged Bernardo Silva there, so he should be bracing himself for a foul to be given, and then he's not looked to put the ball into any sort of position other than just the whack away once you've been told off kind of thing. And I think the yellow card was fair.
I was saying as well, Mike, that at some stage he's going to look to even that up, because I think that was a massive mistake he made with Kyle Walker, and I think Trossard gave him the opportunity to not to send him off, because Trossard, there's no one else to blame but him. But I think that something else would have happened at some stage. I think he would have evened it up some other place. Yeah, genuinely do. Simply because I think that would have been a massive mistake from the referees for what they'd done to Kyle Walker there.
So it was a blow for Arsenal. It was a blow for a neutral, really.
Yeah.
Like you and I, for instance, in here, and like these two. Because the game was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
11v11.
It could have been an all-time classic. That first half had absolutely everything. You know, the tempers were running high. There was goals being scored. We wondered whether it'd be a cagey affair like at the end of last season. But with Haaland scoring early on, it sort of opened the game up. And then all of a sudden, it had everything. And then, as you say, that red card just altered the whole complex of the game. You know, obviously Arteta changed. He brought Saka off. He brought another defender on in Ben White. He put a block of 6 and then 3 in front. It was, I don't know, for the neutral, wanting to see an open, free-flowing game, it probably ruined it. However, it did give us a different aspect of football, and can you break down a packed defence, etc. So it was quite interesting in some ways, but I thought it was building into an all-time classic, I must admit, and I thought the red card, even though it was justified, ruined the game a little bit.
OK, let's get a reaction from the Etihad. We're delighted to say City's equalising goal scorer John Stones is ready to talk to us. John, good to see you. Well done. What did that feel like at the end, first of all, when you got that 2-2?
Yeah, special one for me. Don't get too many moments where you have a vital contribution into a game, and to score like that against one of our biggest rivals over the past few years is really pleasing for me, and I suppose for the guys that played the majority of the game incredibly well, emotionally tough and physically as well against Arsenal's low block. To come up with a goal like that is pleasing for me.
Your last one at the Etihad was 17 months ago against Arsenal. You only do big games, big goals, it seems.
I'm trying to get in the right areas. No, the manager said to me when I came on to stay close to early and get more crosses in the box. When the boys took that quick corner and it came in there, I tried to stay within the width of the goal and see if any knockdowns. Luckily it did. Didn't get the best contact on it, but I think those are the ones that go in sometimes, definitely did today, and pleased to be on the score sheet.
Yeah, a vital goal. Now, Joe Hart was watching that with us in the studio, John, and before I let him speak to you, I want to play you Joe's reaction when you scored. Have a look at this.
I'm excited now.
Get in.
Wow! It was always going to happen! I told you.
There's our
Go on, Johnny! Johnny Stone! Johnny!
Oh, I love it, Harty.
John boy, congratulations, man. What a moment.
Thank you, mate.
Buzzing, but we were just discussing, I'm an act grown up here, even though I never do around you. We were just discussing about the game plan against the low block. Obviously, Mikel made it very clear that it was going to be a packed defence. They were never going to try and counter you. What was the instruction from the side? You said coming on there, you were potentially going to have to stand next to Haaland, more crosses into the box, but it looked like the boys were never panicked, and you felt like there was always going to be a way, right the way up until that moment, taking the short corner, for example.
Yeah, no, as I said, the manager told me to go on, play in front of Erling, as I suppose if you want to look at it on the pitch as a number 10, try and get more crosses, and as you said, emotionally, I felt we dealt with it really well. A lot of changes in the game, a lot of stoppages, of which we know over the past few years Arsenal have brought into the game and make it difficult, stop the flow. And obviously the sending off is a big thing as well, when they go even deeper on the edge of the box. But as you said, emotionally to stick with it and not lose your heads and get frustrated with shooting from outside the box. being more patient around that and making it. They made it difficult for us. Obviously, it's never easy to find the spaces when they've got a back six with a few in front. So yeah, we had to change it up and try and get more crosses in. And luckily, the quick corner from, I think it was Jack, and I'm not sure who else, paid off. And they're the fine margins, I think, in these games. And obviously another decisive moment, if you want to call it, from their first goal with the referee and walks. Not exactly sure what the referee said to him, but I know that he called him over to speak to him, but then didn't allow him to get back into position. It could have been really costly if I'd be stood here talking without a point.
Absolutely, and what it has done, 48 games now unbeaten at the Etihad where you're standing there. Some fortress you've got there now, John, to get something from the game today.
Yeah, I think, as Joe said there, with the emotions and our mentality, how we control that and how we have, a positive mindset and a belief that we can always get something out of a game. I think we proved that here a few years ago when we scored 3 in 10 minutes to win the league or something like that. It's never over until that final whistle, and I think everyone played their part today and contributed. And if we can keep going like that here at home, I'm sure we'll have a great chance again this season.
Well, you certainly contributed. Joe's just off to work on his singing, so thanks very much indeed for joining us, John. Well done today.
Thank you.
Hello, mate.
John Stones live at the Etihad. Stay with us because we'll get the Arsenal side of the story when we... They thought they grabbed all 3 points at the Etihad, but Arsenal still have a proud point on the board. 1 defeat now in 23 Premier League games. Here is what their manager thinks of it all. Mikel Arteta.
Mikel, so close to what would have been an unbelievable result. What are your feelings at the end?
No, I'm so proud of the team. Obviously, we played the game in an unbelievable, difficult context already from the start, playing against the best team in the world. And then obviously after what happened, we had 2-1 up. Obviously, it's a different story, but I prefer not to make any comments about that.
How hard to take is it, that goal coming so late on, after, as you've just said, the heroics your defence has shown? Yeah,
it is obviously a big blow because we had it. It was 97 minutes, they extended again, and we end up conceding the goal. But obviously, it's already a miracle. We play 55 minutes or 56 minutes at the Etihad with 10 men against this team. So it's already unbelievable what we've done, but for sure not a game that any spectator wanted to watch.
I know you can only go so far, but you'll have frustrations with the result. Is it more than that, though, your frustrations today?
Yeah, for sure. I prefer not to comment. It's that obvious what happened before that, what happened when they made that decision, that it doesn't deserve my comment. We already ruined the game. I don't want to ruin anything else off the pitch.
Is there bad blood between these teams, or is it just good, healthy competition that you've got between City and Arsenal now?
It's a really healthy competition. Two teams that love winning, that are challenging each other, and you can feel that tension, that emotion, and that passion in the game.
And can you explain to those of us watching on from the side just how hard it is with 10 players against a team like this to block and block and block as you did?
It's an impossible job. It's an accident waiting to happen, because they have that many resources. They don't give the ball away. They lose the ball always inside the penalty box. You have no situations to get out. It's very tricky.
When you take a step back tomorrow and look at this, I know you talked about coming here and showing you've taken another step to get closer. Have you done that today?
100%. We certainly done that, yes.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thanks, Guy. Thank you.
Interesting. He said it's the impossible job.
Yeah, is it?
To keep a clean sheet. And it was a miracle, he said.
The thing is that there's been plenty of times where I've been at home watching City and watching people do that with City. Remember, even when the Aguero, you're watching it and you're hoping that City can break them down. So I've watched them do it so many times down the years. They just keep going. And then you get the break like they did with Jack getting the space, taking the corner quickly, and then Kovacic's getting the space. But it's something that it's going to be almost impossible. But you look. I think Arsenal 3 away games. Starting with the derby, then Atalanta, and then away to City. Going down to 10 men, no Erdegaard. You have to. He probably will when he looks back on that. Think, it's been. With 1 day less rest, all these things. You have to put that in the pot. He's got to be happy with that today. He's got to be happy with that.
Do you think that's a small step forward psychologically for Arsenal then, to get something out of that game with 55 minutes with 10 men?
Yeah, I think out of the two, of course, Manchester City will be relieved to grab a point in the end. But I think, on balance of the game, I think, who would have been happy with a point before the game? And that would have been Arsenal. So I think that's and when they had 11 men, they were winning 2-1. They were playing well, scored a couple of goals. It was all looking good for them. So yeah, I think mentally that would be a big confidence booster for Arsenal.
Let's go back to Kolo Toure at the Etihad, who we spoke to for the game. You saw two very different halves of football there, Kolo, and obviously and understandably. What did you make of it all?
I think that Man City dominated the game in the first half, and I think they conceded 2 goals. And what I think they did in the second half was fantastic, because they put Arsenal in big pressure. They kept the ball very well, and they played in the final third of Arsenal. But I will say Arsenal defense was really, really good. And when we talk about Arsenal defense, we talk about Saliba, we talk about Gabriel. But today you can see the midfield rise on the middle. You can see the midfield player working hard for the team, stopping shots from Man City defenders, which was really strange, because around the box you want your midfield or your best players, your most technical players to take some shot on goal. But because Arsenal was defending really deep, that allowed the Man City defenders to be around the box and try to shoot. And he wasn't as clinical as the midfield. And I think fair play to Arsenal, they played really, really well. And then they got 1 point. Overall, I think we saw the best attacking team against the best defensive team today, and that was a good draw from 2 top teams.
And just on that point of defending deep, Kolo, as a defender, give us a sense of the level of concentration with 10 men against the best team in the world that you need to maintain there to keep them out.
I think you need determination, you need communication, and I think you need all the team to work hard. And you can see the Arsenal wingers, they were coming, and because Arsenal had a 5-4, and they were really compact, blocking spaces around the box, allow Man City to go on the side. But Man City, when they cross the ball, they have only Haaland, which is tall, who can head the ball. All the rest are not as tall, and then Arsenal were in favour. And that's why I think the midfield, Rice on the middle there, and the other midfield, they worked so hard to stop the shot around the box, and that was perfect from Arsenal. And at the end, I think Man City deserved to score that goal, because overall, on all the game, I think Man City were the better team, I can say.
Kolo, great to see you. Thank you very much today.
Thank you. My pleasure, always.
Kolo Toure at the Etihad. Psychologically, have Arsenal gone forward today? Is that another little notch that, they've virtually kept them out and got a point with 10 men?
You have to take it. I think if you go to City and you get anything, you've got to take it. Coming so close with 10 men, obviously there's going to be a lot of disappointment, but you still got to say psychologically they've got to take that as a win, because I have to agree with Mikel at the start of the game. If Arsenal knew they can get a point out of that, they probably would have taken it. It is still Man City, and if we could get 4 points off them again this season, they'll be happy with that. So that today, as it went so close, but absolutely delighted with that point.
Pep Guardiola's press conference, he's been asked about Rodri. He doesn't know the extent of the injury, so there's no news. But the obvious concern is, if that is for a while, the size of the blow to Manchester City. We all know about the record when he doesn't play and what Rodri doesn't do, lose games. Yeah,
he didn't look comfortable, did he? It was innocuous, no blame to Thomas Partey. Just caught him slightly off balance. It actually looked like the opposite knee to the one that he was struggling with buckled. But you've just got to wait to see how these things play out. He's just off the back of an injury. Are his senses heightened? Is he more panicking, or is this something that's actually quite serious? But Man City have got top medical staff. He'll be given all the right attention and all the tests that can go on. But I think this is a real highlight of what the game was like at this point. You've got Akanji's in a scrap there, Partey bumping Rodri. it was electric, and it's a shame that unfortunately there's going to be casualties when the game's like that. But as I say, no blame to anyone, and we'll wait and see how this one plays out.
And something else that's got lost in all this dramatic day: 100 goals in 104 games for Erling Haaland, and I think it was mentioned in commentary as well. Sergio Aguero took 158 games to get to 100, and we thought that was a magnificent feat. I mean, you strikers, you're all about numbers. I mean, they're just off the charts, those kind of numbers, aren't they?
It is incredible, yeah. I mean, he's playing for the best team that create the best chances, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you know, he's got all that. But to score those goals, I mean, it is quite amazing. He's an absolute goal machine. He's turned up at the best team at the best time of his life. He's almost, been at other clubs and honed his talent and practiced his trade, and all of a sudden he's come to the best league in the world, in the best team in the world, arguably, and, he gets given chances and he's the right man to finish them off. So it's just the perfect storm, the perfect storm, the perfect timing, and there is no reason at all why he can't get to the next 100 in as quick a time. This is not a fluke. This is not like a 10-goal, run in 5 games. It's unbelievable. This is constant. He's a constant source of goals. And as I say, there is no reason why he's going to slow down in any way.
And Aguero, who you played with, obviously was right up there and the greatest of all time, City's record goal scorer. 58 games later he reached that. I mean, it's just, it defies belief, really, these numbers. It
does, and it just needs to be celebrated. We've got a guy here who's come to the toughest league in the world, apparently. That's constantly said by players that have played in various leagues. And he has been absolutely unbelievable. And he didn't necessarily fit in when he came. The team, that's how good a player he is. Pep Guardiola's changed his whole kind of strategy of how he uses a forward player. Credit to him.
Arsenal, onwards and upwards?
Absolutely. Without a doubt, we've got to take the positives from that game and just go again. We know what it's going to be like trying to chase down this team. We've just got to be positive and go again.
And those two and Liverpool, good result for Liverpool today?
It probably was, yeah. I mean, there's other teams that are in this title race, but you'd have to say, on current evidence, that you'd think Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester City are possibly a step ahead. There'll be a few people arguing about that, Villa fans and whatever, but that was it's almost a good result for everybody, I think, today. It keeps it all bubbling nicely.
Gave us plenty to talk about today. Wrighty, Joe, Michael, thank you very much for your company. Johnny
Stone.
There we go. That was the difference in the 98th minute. Honours even from the four of us. We hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you soon. Take care.